Well, today is the deadline for former President Donald Trump to pay his $454 million civil fraud penalty.
But his lawyers have casted doubt on whether he'll be able to pay on time. Let's get right to Good Day's Robert Moses. He is live outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan with what could happen to his assets if the former president can't pay his fine. Robert, good morning.
Tashani and Dan, good morning to you. And today is potentially one of the more momentous days on the calendar for former President Donald Trump. Inside this courthouse, he may very well learn when his first criminal trial will begin, but that is only a portion of what could be a dizzying day of developments in Trump world. Early this morning on Truth Social, former President Donald Trump wrote, "These radical left lunatics and communists ask me to pay a ridiculous and completely unheard of fine of over $450 million only because they saw a similar amount in my bank account. I had intended to use much of that hard-earned money on running for president. They don't want me to do that. Election interference." Today, the former president must come up with the money or a bond, which he has so far been unable to secure, or Attorney General Letitia James can begin seizing assets like bank accounts and properties. This month, James filed paperwork indicating she might have her sights set on two of his properties in Westchester County, Trump National Golf Club Westchester in Briarcliff Manor, and his Seven Springs estate in Mount Kisco. Attorney Ari Aramesh, a Democrat unaffiliated with the case, previewed how he expects today to play out.
Don't expect people, those state troopers, to go into Trump buildings. That's going to take much time. Seizing someone's real estate is not a thing that happens overnight, but we are expecting bank account seizures.
The $454+ million judgment is hardly the former president's only legal headache today. This morning, he will also appear before Judge Juan Merchan in criminal court in Lower Manhattan. Merchan is expected to decide whether to postpone the former president's hush money trial beyond April 15th. Yet David Birdsell of Kean University does not think the legal travails will harm the former president politically.
It's actually probably going to be a help. And we've seen this pattern time after time after time. Every single indictment, every single legal proceeding that goes against the former president, he uses it as a fundraising opportunity.
And the former president is fresh off a financial boon. You might remember his recent merger of his social networking site, Truth Social. That will net him about $3 billion, I should say, but it doesn't help him in this case because he can't begin tapping into that money for 6 months. So again, it doesn't help him with that $454+ million judgment. We're live at criminal court this morning. Dan, back to you.
Could be an interesting day. Okay, Robert, thank you.